Well, we're on our way over to get set up in the stand. I kind of went in and checked out and found a tree this afternoon before we went and ate lunch. But I watched this field last night and saw a probable shooter come out into it. Hoping that he does the same thing again tonight, because this tree's set up perfectly for it. So we'll see what happens. This is where I was watching from last night. This is a big alfalfa field that the deer are coming to, but they stayed on there's a fence line on the other side of this pasture up here, and I watched them. They walked the fence line and they were eating, I think, acorns up there. They stopped a couple times around a couple of the bigger trees, and there were some acorns on the ground when I went up and scouted this out. But just to give you an overlook of what it looks like and what we're kind of looking at, you can see across this alfalfa and then a pasture. We're going to be up there, but this is kind of an overview of what it looks like, what we're trying to get to. Well, Matt and I are in the saddles tonight. First sit of the year, it always takes a little bit getting used to hanging again. It's taken us a little while, but we're finally here. We've already seen a doe and a fawn. Hopefully there's more to come. We've got a shed below us already we found while we got up in the tree. And hoping the bucks that I saw last night stick to the same pattern, because they walked this fence line last night. Hopefully they do it again. We'll see what happens. Weather's nice.
The evening started out well. We had several does and fawns come by, and even a couple turkeys. And then finally, what we were waiting for finally decided to show up. After the buck decided he was taking a path that wouldn't lead him past our tree stand, we started watching his every move, really reading the behavior to make a game plan that would put us on the X for the next night. In years past, this has been a common place where deer enter and exit this alfalfa field. After seeing this buck do the same thing 2 nights in a row, we knew this halfway dead ash tree was going to be our only option, but we were determined to make it work.
Well, he did what we were afraid he was going to do. I've seen a lot of deer walk that fence line going to this alfalfa field, but last night they were eating acorns and coming through here, and I really thought they might do it again, but there were cows in that pasture. A lot of times when there's cows in that pasture, they move around, and luck of the draw tonight, night there weren't cows out there. They were on the other end. So they avoided us. But we've got a game plan for tomorrow night. So we'll see what happens.
What do you think, Chad?
It's on tonight. I hope he does the same thing, but I've seen it happen more than once up here that it didn't. So it's gonna be fun. Well, we've went a little unconventional tonight. Matt and I have slipped in here in this little, almost dying tree on the edge of this alfalfa where the buck came last night. If everything goes to plan and he takes the same path as last night, he should be within 30 yards of us. But there's a lot that can go wrong between now and then, so we're riding it out. We've brushed this thing in midday and hoping that we can get away with this, so we'll see what happens.
The evening started out similar to the one before. We started seeing lots of turkeys in the field, which gets us amped up for spring. Finally, the first deer came into view, but not where we were expecting to see them. The cows had obviously thrown a wrench into our plans and pushed deer from their normal patterns. Hopefully, the big buck will show up soon and get to the field before dark. As we observed the buck's movement, we determined he's not getting here before dark and good enough light for the camera. So we watch him and then decide ultimately the best option is to climb down while he's at a distance, get into the ditch that we have as an exit strategy, get in that and leave the field clean so Chad can come back and hunt the next evening.
Well, it's only me tonight. When you've got a pattern like this that can change at any day, you've got to go for it as long as you can, and nobody else could film. But we expect this field to get cut at any time, this pasture to have cows on it at any time, these bucks to break up and change and start eating acorns any day. So I'm giving it a go tonight. Gonna try to self-film, and if you've seen some of my previous filming, it's been rough. I've had a lot of bad luck, so it could be a really intense few moments if this works out and they do what I hope they do. But it also could be pretty great. So we're gonna sit back. I've already had a flock of turkeys come by. I really expect it to be a last light deal, but we'll see. You never know. This is part of hunting a very active cattle farm. You really don't know what's going to happen from day to day, and it can be a challenge, but when it comes together, it can be pretty awesome. So let's hope that it comes together tonight.
The third night of chasing this buck was the slowest. Nothing decided to show. That doesn't mean this is the last hunt for this beautiful 8-pointer. We'll be back in the tree after everything calms back down and the patterns show us it's time to get after him.